Today I'm going to be talking to you about fiber, which I think is a fairly straightforward topic. As you can see, I have a variety of fruits and vegetables and some beans, some legumes on the cover. I thought the spirals were those curly-Q fries, but they're actually a whole grain pasta. So fiber is actually a complex carbohydrate when you think about it. It's the non-digestible part of the plant, and it consists of long polysaccharide chains of bonds which are not easily broken. And it passes through the body, as I think we all know, and we won't get into the details of that, but it remains intact in the food and is not broken down. And there's little or no energy that's provided from fiber. This is a chart from your book. I think it's a bit confusing, but together we can work through it. It essentially lists the dietary fibers for you and tries to pinpoint which of those fibers are insoluble, such as the hemicellulose and the pectins, and which are non-fermentable, the lignin, the cellulose. And then it also tries to categorize the viscous gel-forming fiber, such as pectins and gums and psyllium, which you would find in your Metamucil. And I didn't say that. I shouldn't have said a brand name. But I think you get the general idea. So when we talk about soluble fiber, where exactly in the plant are we talking? It's inside the plant. So if you think of an apple, most of us, I shouldn't say most of us, some of us peel our apples. I know, bad. But that white part contains soluble fiber, and soluble fiber dissolves in water. Again, if you think of psyllium, kind of poofs when you put some water, when you add some water to it, it becomes sticky and viscous like. Pectins, gums. It slows the passage of food, but it doesn't actually increase your fecal bulk. Good sources: oatmeal, fruits, veggies. I mentioned apples, the inside of an apple, beans. Good foods like those. Non-soluble fiber, which I just mentioned in the diagram, includes cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. Lignin technically is not a carbohydrate. It's found in the skeleton of cell walls in plants. And that, unlike the soluble fiber, will increase your fecal bulk and speed up the transit time of the digested material moving through your large bowel, through the digestive tract. And it provides that excellent resistance of the GI tract to increase that bulk and move the passage of the food through. Good food sources I've listed below for you. I think we're all fairly familiar with those. Wheat, rye, brown rice, seeds, various legumes. And an apple peel, which I meant to say apple peel, so forgive me for that one. I should have said that and see if you're paying attention. Notice the green in the presentation. It's kind of like a Granny Smith apple theme. High fiber diets, we know, are lower in fat and calories, and epidemiological studies have proven this, lo and behold. So populations that consume a high fiber diet tend to have lower risk of colon cancer than those populations that eat a low fiber diet. The National Cancer Institute says that we should all be eating a large number and variety of high fiber foods, soluble and insoluble fiber foods. Insoluble fiber, we know, relieves constipation, decreases the transit time of the stool, which is something people don't like to talk about, but you don't want that stool hanging around in your colon. There has been research regarding this, and a question posed of whether a increased transit time, so the longer the stool remains in your colon, does that increase the risk of your chances of getting colon cancer. It makes the feces bulkier so that you can pass them, and those smooth colonic muscles, it actually helps make them stronger. It's involuntary muscle. I'm not sure how that works, to be entirely honest with you, but it does increase the smooth muscle strength of those in the colon. In terms of health, soluble fiber helps with blood sugar levels, so glycemic control. It can bind bile acids and reduce serum cholesterol. So we used to see at one time, I don't know if it's still on the air, about why you should eat oatmeal. So, this man or woman, whoever it was eating oatmeal, and they've lowered their cholesterol, and their doctor is just so happy with them. I don't think that's on the air anymore, but for a while they were touting that. It changes the intestinal bacteria population. Remember, we want those good bacteria in the colon, and some fiber is acted on by colonic bacteria. Functional fiber is manufactured and added, so it's something that we humans make. It's non-digestible. So how do you know if you're eating functional fiber? Well, as with anything, read the label. Chitin, chitosan, I think I said that correctly, guar gum, psyllium, inulin, maltodextrin. These are some of the functional fibers that we manufacture, or the food industry manufactures and adds to foods. And believe it or not, the total fiber that you consume is the sum of the dietary fiber and this functional fiber that's manufactured and added to some of your foods. The health benefits of fiber, I think most of us are fairly familiar with. Reduced risk of death from cardiovascular disease. You can't really argue with that one. Type 2 diabetes, as I mentioned before, greater glycemic control, and there seems to be an inverse relationship with the higher the fiber intake, the lower your odds or your risk for diabetes. That's type 2 diabetes. I'm not talking about type 1, by the way. It helps with satiety or appetite, controlling your appetite, therefore your weight control. Viscous fiber has been shown to reduce or delay gastric emptying, so you don't have that rapid transit time with everything metering out of your stomach and, then being faced with the feeling of being hungry again. Also the delay of some of the digestive tract hormones that stimulate appetite, like ghrelin, PYY. Some of those are delayed with the consumption of viscous fiber. It helps with GI disorders. Let's face it, if you have issues with constipation, diverticulosis, colon cancer, it's always recommended that you consume a high fiber diet. So how much fiber do we actually need to take in? They've revised these in the past, 5 years or so. Don't quote me on that one. For women who are in the 19 to 50 year range, it's 25 grams per day. 51 or greater, it drops to 21 grams per day. And if you're a male in the 19 to 50 year range, you need 38 grams a day of fiber. If you are 51 or over, you need only 31 grams of fiber. And that's about 1,000 calories a day. I think on average, what I was trying to say there is that they also said that you need 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So that's another way that you could calculate that or figure it out. I myself prefer a one-stop shopping, so that I know that what my target goal for fiber at the end of the day is. Most people only get 12 to 18 grams a day. So remember, I'm a woman between the ages of 19 and 50, so I should be consuming 25 grams of fiber, and yet most of us are only getting 12 to 18 grams. A word of caution, I do remember as a nutrition student just starting out, I was horrified when I realized that I wasn't eating or consuming enough high fiber foods, and being the good nutrition student that I wanted to be, I ran to the local grocery store and bought a box of a very high fiber cereal that I decided I would consume every morning before my favorite biochem lab. And I went gung-ho a little too fast. Don't do that. That has unpleasant effects. Let's just leave it at there. So increase that fiber intake slowly if you are one of those people who only gets 12 to 18 grams a day. Perhaps in 5 to 10 gram increments. Don't go crazy, because you'll probably end up in the restroom facilities. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to our next talk. Take care now.